All right, joining us now is our six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, Jimmie Johnson, and he drives the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Jimmie, getting ready to start on the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Challenger round, a new format, a new year, and you've got a championship to defend. Just talk about your mindset as you begin preparation here today at Chicagoland.
Excited to get back in the car, get to work. It's a much different week for all the chasers with the media circuits that we've been on. 2 full days leading up to our on-track activity here today. So excited to get the racing mindset back at the forefront of my mind. And we've all said plenty and it probably wore everybody out with remarks and answers and questions. And now it's time to get on the track and get to work.
Take some questions for Jimmie. Start here with Bob Pockris, and then we'll go to Jared, and then it looks like Nate Ryan's itching for one, so we'll go there.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. I'm a little bit confused. Yesterday you had said, kind of implied that you weren't getting any air into your helmet, but then a few days ago it was kind of that you were getting warm air into your helmet. I was curious which one was it?
Yeah, sorry. The cool box itself has a fan in it, and then there's a fan behind it to help increase the airspeed. So there was some air coming out of it, but the AC portion of it wasn't working. So when they did a quick check of things at the track and initially flipped the switch on, sure there was some air coming out, but as they got in deeper, pulled the cool box out, tested it, it wasn't working. So that's sorry for the confusion on all that. Yes. Yeah.
Let's go to Jared, and then Nate, and then Marty. Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, Jared Turner, FoxSports.com. Jimmie, how does your confidence level heading into this chase compare to other years that you won the championship? And is there a year that it is sort of similar to that stands out?
I don't recall exact thoughts. The most current thoughts would be last year's chase. We had a terrible run of races leading into the chase, and then we got off to a good start and obviously won the championship. So I've been reminding myself of that. I do feel like there were a couple chases that we had momentum on our side, and we came in and got off to a great start and won championships. So it really is its own world. I mean, just like any other sport, when the playoffs start, everything starts over on a clean sheet of paper. And I've had it work either way, where regular season was beneficial and momentum was on my side. I've had it where regular season wasn't so good and momentum was against me. So over the 10 races, a lot can happen. And then this year, with the format changing as dramatically as it has, the opportunity for somebody to stay alive and really, you just need to be hot towards the end, if not really hot at one race. So we'll just see how it all plays out.
Go to Nate, and then Marty, and then Alan Cabana.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmie, a lot of the talk yesterday was that minimizing mistakes would sort of be the key of the first round, advancing, and Denny Hamlin actually said that he'd be probably backing off on pit road speed on Sunday just to make sure that there were no sorts of errors like that. Is that something that you'll be cognizant of, and you think other chase drivers will kind of be watching these first 3 races, just making sure you don't eliminate yourself?
Yeah, but that's just the balance that we're faced with as drivers, teams. And it's so much easy to think big picture before an event, but when you get in the car and you know how important pit road speed is, you might forget that you planned on being cautious. You might forget when you're racing somebody 3 wide that, man, I thought I was just going to be smart here. So, and that's the beauty of racing. We get sucked in and we race hard and we get all that we can. But I really feel that it isn't any different than the way you've had to win championships in the past. I mean, you have to battle that fine line of risk versus reward, and with as competitive as our garage area is, you can't leave a half second on pit road. You can't leave a couple tenths on the racetrack. You've got to somehow dial in 100% and no more.
Let's go over here to the far right. Marty Smith, Alan Cabana, and then my man from EMRN.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Similar question. This is a whole new world in terms of the breakdown of the chase in this 10-race format, whatever. So what is your general strategy / approach as you enter this thing?
I think if it goes in multiple directions depending on your races. If you have, first and second race with poor finishes and you're not looking strong in points, it's real easy for that third race. You need the Hail Mary to make something happen. If you get off to a quick start and you're solid in the points, of course you're going to take an opportunity to win, but you're covering the base on points. So I think there are going to be multiple strategies that take place depending on performance, and then after 3 races, you're going to have to kind of re-rack and start over again. So I don't know, and I think that's what makes it interesting right now is there isn't a clear strategy that can play out. I mean, winning races does, period. I mean, that's kind of the design of the format to start with, but I think it'd be a stretch if somebody won 3 or 4 races in the chase. That'd be really tough to do. So you're going to have to kind of count on points as well.
Let's go here to the far left. Alan, MRN, and then Matt.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Jimmy, sort of a similar question, but last year, I mean, you had 7 top 5s and 9 top 10s. You've won championships before with 4 or 5 wins. Will it take a performance similar to that to win a championship this year in this format?
It's hard to say, but I'm counting on it. We've seen a lot of strength out of teams, and it's just amazing to me how every year the competition gets more intense, how much more difficult it is to win, and really that average finishing result just keeps getting to a smaller and smaller number. So I'm planning for that, and hopefully we can light it up here.
Go ahead right here.
Hey, Jimmy. Tyler, MRN. Every sport has rivalries: Ohio State, Michigan, Boston, Red Sox, Yankees. Right now in this championship, is it Hendrick, Penske? And if it isn't, why?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the only twist to that is the Stewart-Haas thing, but obviously they're Hendrick cars. So, I would kind of feel that way when I go through my favorites and pick out my top, 4 or 5 cars. They're Hendrick vehicles and Penske vehicles.
Let's go over here to the far right. We'll go to Matt, and then we'll go to Stan.
Matt Weaver, PopularSpeed.com. Jimmy, when you look at these individual brackets, each round of the chase, is there one of them that looks out to you like it's going to be more of a challenge for you and the 48 team?
I think just based on the numbers, when you get to the end, you have 4 that transfer to Homestead. So, forgive me for not knowing all the catchy names that we have, Kerry.
Challenger.
What's the one before
Contender,
Homestead?
Eliminator.
The Eliminator, yes. So I think when you get down to the Eliminator, that
Better pack your lunch that day.
that block of tracks, just based on the numbers, there's only 4 transferring from there, and I'm very happy with the 3 racetracks in that Eliminator round. Is that right? Okay, in the Eliminator round. So I think that's out of the rounds, that's probably the toughest one. But you go to Homestead, and truthfully, that one race, I guess I'm thinking differently. I'm not sure how to quite answer your question, because Homestead by far is the most difficult one. 4 guys, equal points. But as you work through the segments, I think that the Eliminator round is really the toughest because there's less cars transferring. Yeah.
Stan Creekmore with CompetitionPlus.com, Jimmy. Might be a tough question for you. If you can make it to Homestead, which 3 drivers would you be most happy to be racing in that race, and which 3 do you think would give you the most competition in that race?
I don't know the stats, but I would want the 3 worst Homestead averages. And heck, I might be in that category for all I know. And then the flip would be, the 3 that have the best. And the 24 has always been strong there. The 2 has been good there if memory serves me right. But I'd just go off the stats. That's how I'd play it.
Let's get one more question. Dean. Let's get 2 more questions. Dean and then Jim.
Over here, Jimmy. Dean McNulty from the Toronto Sun. I know you spoke yesterday about how Chad would chastise you if he ever thought you were laying in the weeds. But in the stretch from June, from Michigan till now, was the team looking at doing any R&D on setups? Were there new setups you were trying out during that period that you might not have?
Yeah, I mean, with a new rules package that we have, there's been a lot of development going on and a lot of looking at our teammates and what works for them, kind of what showed speed for us. So yeah, absolutely. This year, I think there's been more of a moving target for a lot of teams trying to find out what builds consistent speed in their race cars. So sure, we've been experimenting, we've been working on things, but we didn't consciously look at it and say, okay, we won a couple races, we're going way off in left field and trying something different. We've just been racing and trying to make our stuff better. So sure, there's been development, but it hasn't been like a conscious R&D effort to, that would kind of explain, at the root of your question, some bad results and maybe not the race wins or finishes that we'd want. I think we were competitive through most of that stretch. We just had some really funky races. We had tire issues and crashed at Daytona. Just a lot of different things went on. So, but historically, that window of time you talked about has always been a slow period for the 48 for a variety of reasons.
Final question, Jim.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. This kind of goes back to the Homestead stat question. I think it was Brad Keselowski back at the media tour who said something when the new chase format was first announced about, I'm not really sure if we've ever seen Jimmie Johnson really have to race at Homestead. And I wondered if you were to make it to the final race, being in a position where simply the highest finisher wins, would that be greatly dramatic to how you and your team have approached it, say when you've come in with a certain points lead going into the last race?
Yeah, it would change that. The mindset, the energy. We've been fast down there. The year that Brad won, we were leading the race and in position to win and had a series of mistakes that took us out of contention. We had to go down there and race Denny once and got that done. Last year, we ran up front through the majority of the race. Matt was leading, trying to put pressure on Matt and chasing him around in second spot. So, I definitely feel like we can go there and win. It's not Dover for us, just being honest, but it's still a strong track for us, and we can go down there and I think get the job done, if need be.
Jimmy, thanks for visiting
Thanks.
with us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.